For 40 minutes now, a man has been rolling dice at the craps table without hitting a 7 even once. A large crowd of onlookers has gathered, cheering and whooping with every throw. The frustrated pit boss is now visibly angry. They change the stickman, making it clear that they see a problem, but they can't act in front of such a large crowd. It's too risky. The idea of one person taking on and beating the casino industry at their own game is thrilling. He rolls a 6, once again hitting his predicted number. Who is this man, and how is his craps strategy consistently beating Vegas casinos? This story began in 1997 when a software developer from New York visited Vegas for a weekend. During the week, he ran a small tech firm, but his true passion was gambling. As an expert blackjack player, Dominic Lorigio was facing increasing challenges. Casinos were using multiple decks and shuffling more frequently to counter card counters like him, destroying his edge and diminishing his fun. Additionally, casino staff were vigilant, ready to eject anyone they suspected of counting cards. Dominic was at a crossroads. He didn't want to quit, but wasn't willing to take unnecessary risks. To him, gambling was business, not just entertainment. One day, while walking the casino floor, Dominic noticed a group of young women at a craps table, shouting and cheering their luck. Intrigued by their excitement, Dominic paused. One of the women claimed to have a lucky grasp, and a thought struck him. Craps might be different from other casino games. In craps, the player can directly influence the outcome of each roll. Could this game be ripe for advantage play, or would manipulating the dice be considered cheating? Craps is arguably the most exciting game in a casino, because it's the one game where everyone is in it together. It begins with the come-out roll, where rolling a 7 or 11 wins, and rolling a 2, 3, or 12 loses. The goal then shifts to rolling a specific point number, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, or 10, before rolling a 7. For instance, if the come-out roll is a 5, the player must roll another 5 before rolling a 7 to win. If a 7 is rolled before the point number, it typically results in a loss for most bets and ends the round. To win big money, Dominic knew he needed to control the dice. He couldn't get every roll right, but if he could manipulate the average outcome, it might be enough. Determined, Dominic scoured local bookstores for information. His friends thought he was on a fool's errand, believing that dice games were purely random. However, Dominic was convinced there was a way to work within the laws of nature to influence the outcome. Enter Chris Paulicki, a man who spent 3 years developing a technique to influence how the dice land. He even taught this method to others. Dominic was immediately hooked. If Chris's technique worked, it could give him the advantage he needed. Despite knowing little about Chris, Dominic decided to invest $595 in a 2-day training course. But before we go further with the story, please take a moment to like this video if you want to know the whole story of this man who is consistently beating Vegas casinos. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to never miss a video. Now let's go on with the story. Chris's method was straightforward. Control 3 crucial variables to influence the dice's outcome. The technique didn't aim to predict the future with every throw, but to reduce randomness and increase the likelihood of a favorable result. The challenge was significant because there are 6 ways to roll a 7, more than any other number, and the dice must hit the table and the back wall before stopping. Chris's method focused on the grip, initial positioning, and the manner of the throw. The goal was to throw the dice with the maximum distance and minimum force, ensuring they had minimal momentum upon hitting the back wall. Achieving this involved launching the dice at an optimal 45-degree angle, allowing for the greatest range with the least force. This controlled approach meant the dice expended less energy upon impact, reducing their movement and enhancing the thrower's control over the game. Importantly, while the dice needed to hit the back wall, there were no rules on the specifics of the throw, so this strategy wasn't considered cheating. Most people didn't even believe it was possible. Having learned only the basics, Dominic was convinced the method worked and was eager to test his skills in Vegas. Before he could, Chris revealed a secret. The training course was a vetting process for a specialized team of professional craps players known as Rosebud. This was a pivotal moment for Dominic. His obsessive will to beat the house was paying off, and now he was meeting with Chris weekly to perfect the crucial elements of his crap thrown in Chris's garage. First, he needs to memorize specific dice sets, arranging the dice in a way that influences their outcome. By altering the dice's set and combination, he can change how they land. The come-out roll in craps is crucial because it sets the stage for future play. Rolling a 7 or 11 is advantageous, and setting the dice to a 4-3 or a 5-2 combination is the best way to roll a 7 on the come-out. After the point is established, different combinations help him avoid the point, like the 1-1 or 6-6 sets. This approach is sneaky but effective. Equally important is the grip. Where Dominic grips his dice combination affects the rotations as they travel through the air. A lot of practice is required, but a good grip ensures consistent execution when rolling. The most challenging aspect is the arm swing, which is the power behind each throw and can drastically alter the outcome. Dominic refines his technique by creating a long, rigid sweeping motion originating from his elbow, ensuring near-identical execution every time he shoots. Practicing over 3 hours daily, sometimes late into the night on his custom-built craps table, Dominic becomes proficient. Ready to test his skills with real money, the Rosebud team heads to Atlantic City. Accompanied by other members, Dominic nervously approaches the craps table. Throwing dice at home is different from doing so under heavy casino surveillance with real money at stake. The first 30 minutes are a disaster, causing him to question his ability. However, the other Rosebud players reassure him that this is normal. An hour later, Dominic's grip and throwing technique are on point. People around the table start cheering, and his confidence grows. However, there's a problem. Confident and eager for more money, he wants to increase the stakes. But the Rosebud members forbid it. Jerry Patterson, in particular, dislikes his loud and outgoing nature, fearing it will draw unnecessary attention to the team's activities. As a sharp gambler, Patterson knows avoiding the casino's attention is crucial. Now initiated into their secret team of craps players, Dominic learns the importance of discipline. Horrified by their maximum betting limits, he reluctantly agrees to the rules. Avoid drawing attention, bet modestly, no showboating, and cash out after making a few $1,000s. Each team member contributes a couple of $1,000s towards the team's bankroll, smoothing out variance during bad runs. After a typical weekend in Vegas, their pot grows by about 60%. Dominic soon realizes he's the most skilled shooter on the team, contributing significantly to their winnings but feeling suppressed by the rules. Winning is exhilarating, but the constraints frustrate him. Shortly after, Chris invites Frank Scoblet to one of Rosebud's training sessions. Dominic is starstruck by Frank, an American author and authority on casino games. Tension arises within the group, but Dominic and Frank hit it off. Dominic's skill allows him to roll over 30 times without hitting a 7, impressing Frank. Quietly, Frank asks him how much he's made with his skills. The group's small wagers amount to only a couple of $1,000 per weekend, hitting a nerve for Dominic. Frustration around betting limits and the other players holding him back surfaces. Having an advantage is no good if you don't bet big when the time is right. Seeing an opportunity, Frank suggests forming a new craps team where Dominic can play freely, increase stakes, and embrace his flamboyant character. Though conflicted, Dominic knows he's on the wrong team. Producing most of Rosebud's results, he wants to get rich quickly. Frank shares this desire. Together, they decide to take things to a new level, forming their own team called the Golden Touch. Their first big test comes during New Year's in Vegas, where they play craps with $500 stakes. Dominic, confident and exuberant, plays air guitar and gives high fives after each win. However, the casino stickman grows suspicious, trying to throw him off. Despite the interference, the new team succeeds, taking the house for what is now equivalent to $25,000. Energized by their success, they plan a more aggressive strategy, playing craps in multiple destinations across various cities over the coming months. Everything they earn goes back into the pot, and as it grows, so do their bets. Week after week, they bank big money. However, problems arise as tales of the two extroverted craps players who rarely lose spread. Betting $7,000 per roll and shooting 20, 30, or 40 times in a row without rolling a 7 draws large crowds. Around a year later, the Golden Touch returns to the Vegas Strip, having taken hundreds of thousands from the casinos. The heat is rising, but they're getting filthy rich, so they carry on. This was the story of the man who beat Vegas roulette by playing craps. Please hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. Also take a look at our channel because there will be more videos that you will find interesting.